One of the questions we receive is how can the closing attorney's office represent both the buyer and the seller? Well, in North Carolina, under the bar ethics rules, an attorney can represent both parties to a transaction like this. And the reason for that is because the attorney's loyalty is to the contract itself, not necessarily to the buyer or the seller. Certainly we represent both the buyer and the seller and can provide legal advice to both, but our role is to effectuate the contract, which means we cannot negotiate on behalf of the buyer, we cannot negotiate on behalf of the seller, and if there becomes a dispute, then we have to withdraw from the entire transaction and cannot represent either party as part of that dispute. The advantage to having one attorney represent both the buyer and the seller is it makes the transaction much more efficient and less costly for both the buyer and the seller. That being said, there's nothing that prevents a seller from hiring their own attorney as part of a real estate transaction.